Hi everyone. Today we're continuing on with the training on how to fill out the forms here. We have just completed the neighborhood section and we are going to move on to the site section. This section of the report we are describing the subject site. So we're going to put in dimensions, the shape. We're going to say what you see. The view is going to be what you see when you look out the front door. Then we're going to move on to the zoning information, highest and best use, and then on down to utilities, flood map information, and then any other comments that we might need to make about the site. So the dimensions we get from our tax assessor report. So in here, when you're looking at this page here, it's generally labeled tax assessor's report. It gives you this box up here with the plat map. And in this case, the site is going to be easy. It's always the very middle one that you can find. To double check, you're going to look at it's lot number 2, block 11. So the lot numbers are in the boxes. So we can see this is lot number 2. And the site dimensions are the measurements. So right here we have got 150 by 96.6. So that is what we are going to put in the site dimensions here. 150 by 96.6. We hit enter and you'll notice that the area automatically calculates. There are options for changing this if you need to right here using that little button. I have it selected to where it'll automatically perform every time and we don't display it. But if you have an odd shaped lot, you might need to adjust that. Again, going back to this plat map, it was a rectangular site there. So we're going to put in rectangle. And look, again, here's the quick list. I'll just go ahead and select that rectangle. The view, I'm typically going to just want you to go ahead and put in, when you click in the view field, this box comes up. These are more UAD parts of the form. So we have to select a rating. It overall means rating. So a view is either neutral, it has neither a good effect or a negative effect on the property. It's beneficial, or it has a good effect, or it's adverse, it has a negative effect. So what I'm going to want you to do is always select neutral, and then the factor is where we're choosing one of these things is what I have the option for, or we can describe other. But what I'm going to want you to do is enter neutral for the rating and residential for the factor. And then if that ever needs to be changed, that would be left up to the appraiser to change that out in the field when they get there and see what they're looking at. Zoning, that will be, you should get a zoning map within your folder that has all the research on it until you get trained to pull that zoning up on your own. Okay, here is the zoning map right here, the Sweetbriar zoning. So let's see, it is showing this 3208 Sweetbriar is R1, and there's actually an A behind there. So we're going to say R1A. But that's what we're looking for, is that zoning map. And we're just going to take it right from there. The classification is the code. So the R1A. And then the description, again, when you get into this field, you see these quick lists come up over here. And the description is going to be residential. Actually, yeah, residential. And then if they've got one of R1A residents, there you go. Okay. The zoning compliance is going to be legal. It's typically going to be legal. The appraiser would note if it should be something other than legal. But for your purposes, I just want you to mark legal on everything. That is the highest and best use of the subject property as improved Is the highest and best use of the subject property as improved the present use? Okay, so in this case, again, for your purposes, I just want you to enter yes, and then come over here to, okay, there are highest and best use comments, and they actually are going to be put on the addendum. So there also may be, we'll hop over to the addendum as we finish this section, but for now we'll skip those comments. The utilities, electric will always be public. Gas, if you can determine if it's on public gas or not, you can enter that. Otherwise, leave it blank. The appraiser can fill it out in the field. The water will always be public. There has been 1 or 2 cases where that has not been the case, and again, the appraiser would be responsible for changing that. The sanitary sewer, this is going to be one that if you can find it in the MLS listing, and I'll show you where to look for it, then you can mark it. And if you are unable to find it because the agents are not always consistent in their reporting, then we would want you to leave it blank and let the appraiser fill that out in the field. So for now, we're going to hop over. This property does not have a listing, but I did pull up one of the comparable listing sheets just to show you where the information is on these sheets. So the utilities down here, we've got water and sewer. Sometimes it'll be over here, but you're looking in this middle section of the page here, and you're looking for water and sewer. In this case, it's public sewer and public water. I don't know why but they do not have an area that would show whether the gas was public or propane, but they don't. So we can sometimes get the sewer off of here though. So in this case, it's public, so we're going to mark public. And in this particular case, I happen to know that if there's gas out there, it's going to be public, so I'm going to mark public. Street is always asphalt. Okay. Oh, and going back over here, just real quick, if the gas were propane and not public, you would select other and then enter propane. If the sanitary sewer were septic, which is over here, or private community, which is an unusual thing, but it does happen, then you would select other and then enter comments here. If the public is checked, no comments can be entered in these spaces. So those should be left blank. Alley, there is 95% of the time out here, there is no alley, so you would just enter none. And then again, in the rare instances where there is an alley, the appraiser can change that. Going back to the street is always asphalt and it should always be marked public. Again, in the rare instances that is different, the appraiser can easily change that. All right, are the utilities and off-site improvements typical for the market area? I want you to mark yes every time. Again, if this needs to be changed, the appraiser can do that. And finally, are there any adverse site conditions or external factors, easements, encroachments, environmental conditions, land uses, etc.? And this is, again, I'm going to want you to select no and enter these comments right here. Say typical site, just select them from the quick list. That's what I'm going to want you to do. The appraiser would be responsible if that needed to be different. So from here, we've got the entire site section completed, and all of this information can be done before the appraiser goes out to look at the house. From here, you're going to want to move to the improvements video. Thank you.